And as you can see, here is a picture of the textbook. Is when I try to teach them the dialogue, there's an example here. Come here, kids. So I would just do this. Come here, kids. So I don't have to translate it into Mandarin, and my student understand perfectly what my meanings here. And then I'll invite student volunteers to do a role play, and I'll use yes/no questions, either/or questions, or definite questions to make sure that my student understand what I'm saying here. And then I'll create a personalized story based on student's name, or I'll create a personalized story based on the event that actually happened in the classroom that will relate to their prior experience, and which will make the story more fun and interesting to my students. And by doing that, I can review the target sentence patterns again, which I think is good. And then I'll talk about my cloud lessons. So I have a lot of thanks to my great partners, Haley and Sophie, and they're just amazing, and they have a lot of great ideas. So we create these cloud lessons, and it's basically about cultural comparison between the US and Taiwan, and it's a sequential lessons based on mac and cheese. So first we talk about the ingredients of mac and cheese and how to buy them in an American supermarket. And when they check out, they need money, so we talk about American money, the currency. And then we talk about the recipe of mac and cheese, then a wrap-up lesson. And the outcome of our co-lessons is we broaden their worldview, and we foster internal motivation, and then they have greater oral proficiency and better use of technology. And how do we do that? Let me explain more. So these are the pictures of our lessons in my classroom. And Haley is the main teacher. Obviously, she speaks better English than I do, but I have face-to-face interaction with my students, and I know better of my students. So I'm responsible of classroom management, and I make sure that every one of my students is participating and engaging. And I will encourage the shyest student to speak more to Haley. And then these are the lessons of the Taiwanese recipe lessons. So my students are teaching Taiwanese recipe to Haley, and they're teaching stinky tofu to Haley. And they used to be really shy about speaking English, but in class, they speak so much English to Haley because they feel so proud of Taiwanese food. So I think that's why the motivation is strong enough to encourage them to speak. And they even use the words that I haven't told them in my class, and I asked them, how did you learn these words? And they said, I Google it. So I think learning is actually happening in my classroom. And these are the videos we made while we were in the US, and this is my favorite part, and it is actually Haley's idea. And we called it a video pal project. So we pair up my student and Haley's student, and they'll talk about the topics that we taught them during the week. And my students feel really excited about it because they made US friends. And then I'll talk about my teacher's inquiry project. So the situation that concerns me in my classroom is my students feel really shy about speaking English, but I think they're good at reading and writing, so it doesn't make sense at all. So I tried different interventions here, and these 6 strategies that I have already talked about earlier, so I just skip that. And I use both quantitative and qualitative way to collect data, and I collect their grade reports, and I did interview with all of my students, and I asked them 3 questions. What do you like the most about the cloud lessons? What did you know about America? What do you know about America now? How much do you think your oral competence has improved? So as for the quantitative data analysis, I think my student improved significantly. So they did 2.2 on their pre-test, and then they improved to 3.5 on their post-test. And here is the criteria of the fluency. And then as for the quantitative data analysis, my student said, I love the use of realia because in American currency lesson, we gave them real American coins. And they look at those American money and they said, wow, these are so beautiful, and they feel so excited about those American money. And they love being able to introduce Taiwan to Haley, and they love making U.S. friends the most. And here are the quotes from our student. I like American money lesson the most. It is my first time seeing American money. They're so delicate and beautiful, white Anna. And quote, I love teaching Haley about Taiwan. I love making PowerPoint and using English to introduce Taiwan to Haley. Quote by Hank. And Ira said, I love making Flipgrid videos the most because I can make many friends and they can see my face. And then I think the valuable lesson, the most valuable lesson my students have is they internalize their motivation from extrinsic motivation to internal motivation, because as we know that intrinsic motivation generates adaptive learning behavior. So before, they're afraid of speaking English because they have external motivation. They cared about the grades. They're learning English because they care about the grades. But now, they change themselves to intrinsic motivation. Here's the quote. I don't like learning English before, but now I love learning English because I can communicate with people from different places, like Stephen. And I think that's the most important lesson they know. They've learned during this project. And here is my presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and from Nancy Elementary School. This is my topic. During the project, there are 5 questions I keep asking myself. The first one is why motivation is important. Because in my school, in our policy, teachers prefer to take care of the students who are low achievers or who have special education. So the people who are potential, who have high interest, they are mostly ignored in the classroom. So that's why I choose 18 students from high graders who have high interest but low confidence and who have anxiety in their English speaking. So in this class, the students work hard on their own, but not willing to help each other. So in this class, I choose these students. So the first, I think, I want them to motivate it in English class. So the first I want them to learn is to boost their confidence. So I create a comfortable environment, emphasize on fluency and integrating interactive tools. So the second question is that why use interactive tools? And I found these 3 advantages of using these tools. The first, you can see the picture. Students are really happy. They have more fun in the English class. And by making PPT, they have successful experiences. So they are more active to learn English and to search online. So you can see they use many effects of PPT skills. And it is more effective because you can use this English in real life. So the third one is how to integrate Flipgrid into the class. I implement this app as a home assignment, and it's related to our topics. After they upload the videos, Kelly will respond to the students. And I hope this kind of atmosphere can make students a cozy environment. But in the beginning, I failed because students don't know how to use it at home. So you can see the first topic is about self-introduction, and there are only 5 videos. There are only 5 students using, and the videos they use a mascot to represent their faces. they are too shy to face the camera. So I think that isn't okay. So on weekend, I asked 8 willing students to go to Nancy and help them to use this app. So you can see there are 8 students and there are 25 videos uploaded. But in the video, there's no conversation. Students just said, oh, this is koi fish. Oh, this is our home, and this is the temple. So, but the last topic we uploaded, there are 16 videos, and there are 18 students enjoying it. And in these videos, you can see students do role play, and they speak naturally, and their voice are promoted. Why? Well, I take before as an example. This is in her first video. You can see she uses her pop toy to introduce herself. She said, "Hello everyone, I'm April. Thank you." But yes, she searched online about how to say oil in English and do a role play with her friends. So how do we do that? I think because we give students a model video, like how to say this sentence in a real supermarket, and we give students a clear script, the lesson setting, so students can obey these rules and produce the videos very well. And then Kelly will give them lots of compliments and support them. So they love to use this kind of video. So in my future inquiry, how to boost confidence, I think there are 3 elements which are really important. That is overall competence. If students have better overall competence, and then people give them good support or encourage them, then they have successful experience. And these 3 elements make them feel confident. And I collect these analysis from students' PPT and the polls and survey. Before, you can see students, they type really slowly. They can't find where is the letter A, where is the letter I, or how to type comma in the PPT. And so they use a lot of pictures to substitute them. But when they introduce to Kelly how their life is, they couldn't say the whole sentence. But after we do that again and again, you can see students, they produce very good PPT, and they type faster, and they use a lot of effects, and they can search information online. These words I don't teach them, but they found out online themselves. And about their opinions, you can see they feel shy and feel pressure when seeing Ellie in the class. But they are willing to give it a try. And after that, you can see student is more confident and speak English graphically, and they loved these classes we made. And some people even said that they will work harder in the future in learning English. So I think it's really meaningful. So what I learned from the club project, I think I learned most from my club partners, my classmates, because they create really innovative and creative lesson plans on the FB page. And these could be our resources in the future. So this updates my teaching. Now I know how to use the student, how to give students a situation in class, and use different interactive tools. And after that, we can discuss together, and then students think more. So especially thanks to these people who made me a great year into 2019. Thank you.
be my presentation. Unlike Sophie and Eunice, I did not have to do research and collect feedback, so it's just a celebration of everything that they did for me, mostly at the schools. So first I went to Danai Elementary, which is in Tainan with Eunice, and I was there for 2 days. I got off of my flight at 5 a.m. and I took the HSR down to the school and immediately jumped right in. But they were all so accepting and willing to help me, and they let me eat their lunch, which was delicious. And the school itself was just really beautiful, and everyone was so kind to me. And Eunice kept me very busy on day 1 since I got there and I was tired. She let me just relax and nap during nap time and just kind of hang out with the students. But on day 2, I taught, I think, 3 or 4 classes, but each class had around 50 students. They combined multiple classes into one, and I taught in an auditorium. So these are just some photos that I took with each of the classes, and I taught all different grades from kindergartners to probably 2nd or 3rd grade. And I taught the same lesson each time, which was interested to scaffold for all of the different English levels and grade levels that I was teaching. But the kids were so cute, and they thought I was a celebrity, and anything I did, they loved. So these are just some photos of all of the classes I taught that day. And then later the next day, I went to a remote school close to Eunice's school. They have another smaller school of only, I think, 20 to 25 students in the entire school. And Eunice's school has around 100 students. So this school was kindergarten through 6th grade, and I taught my lesson again to them. And they were just so sweet. Their English teacher was there with me and just wanted them to talk to me. And they actually asked me questions and would listen to me, and it sometimes was difficult to get the students in Eunice's school to feel confident to ask me questions, but at this remote school, they all wanted to ask me questions and just get to know more about American life. And we also went on a lot of excursions. Eunice and her principal kept me very busy. Her principal took me out to the night market with some students and parents and took me hiking. And we walked around and saw some temples, and Eunice took me out for a hot pot dinner, which was really nice of her and her family. And on my last day, I just felt all of the love from the students. They all gave me hugs and high fives and took pictures, and they all asked for my Facebook and never wanted me to leave. And then I hopped on over to Nancy Elementary, which is where Sophie works, and it's a beautiful school. It's very different from American schools. It's so open, and there's plants everywhere, and Sophie says the co-op takes care of them. Like everywhere, there's just plants all over, and you can hear the birds and see the mountains. And I also taught at Sophie's school. I was a little less busy, which was kind of relaxing, but the students were really sweet still, and the class sizes were larger. And then these were my original class students that I worked with, and it was just really great to see them in person. And just adorable students that I taught. And Sophie also kept me busy, but we went on excursions during the school day, and it turned into an interactive field trip instead. So the students prepared posters, and we walked around the town, and we would stop in front of different things, and different groups would present their facts to me about where we were. So we went to temples, and we went to this really gorgeous Buddhist temple that was amazing. And I stayed with the host family, and they made us a hot pot dinner. And I also just felt the love from all of the students. When I showed up, they gave me each individual Christmas gifts, and we celebrated Christmas, and they all wanted to hug me. And we did a lot of culture lessons. I helped them make mac and cheese, which they'd never had before, and they really liked it. And my takeaways from the project, in general, the students are very shy, which is not surprising because I'm a native English speaker and they're still learning the language. But they were all really excited to try and speak to me. Everyone also loves to share their culture. I shared American culture with them, and they were really excited to teach me about Taiwan. And I found that the students would often work together to speak to me. They would come in herds and talk to each other. And then one brave student would come up and try out the sentence, and they'd be, no, no, no. So it was fun to see them working together to form a sentence in English. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, Sophie, and Eunice. The topic you created, the American currency topic, which I also follow it our lessons. This is so amazing.